Good morning, everybody, and happy fall day it is. I'm working on my herbal kombucha here. I have my 2 bottles that I have been brewing, and I'll be honest, I put these in the cabinet and it looks like they have been there since March. I forget about them and they turn into vinegar. There's the tea from the first bottle I did. My first jar here is my elderberry rose hips combination, and I have found this is my first super successful herbal SCOBY kombucha. And I'll tell you what, guys, this makes an amazingly healthy SCOBY. Look at this thing. This thing's a beast. There's the other one that was in there, and I pulled off a few to put in my jar to save back for later. Anyway, let's see. So I brewed my tea, and for my half-gallon jar there, I use a 1/4 cup of tea, and you can use more. And I use half rose hips, half elderberry, and then the 1/2 cup of sugar and 2 cups of water, and make my tea. So I put the sugar, the tea, and the 2 cups of water in this pot and bring it to a boil. And then once it comes to a boil, turn it off and you let it sit for 30 minutes or so. Doesn't have to be exact, but just let it steep. And from that, you get this nice tea. And so I put my 2 cups of tea. I brewed some extra for my storage jar to put in the fridge. But I put my 2 cups of fresh sugar water herb tea in my jar, and then to that I've added, they want you to add some starter tea, and so I think it's about 2 cups for a gallon, but I went ahead and did 2 cups in my half gallon. So there's my starter tea from my jar, so I put that in there, and then I'll add one of these giant SCOBYs and top it off with some filtered water, because you don't want to use chlorinated water. It kind of inhibits the whole probiotic function there. And then the other tea blend that I've been using that has worked really well for me is this raspberry, nettle, oat straw, and alfalfa. And so it's 2 parts raspberry, 2 parts nettle, 1 part oat straw, and 1 part alfalfa. And that one has done fairly well too. There is a nice fat SCOBY in there. Makes a nice tea. There's some extra SCOBYs. So I'll put those extra ones in my jar for in case I have one go bad. So I brewed my tea for that batch with those herbs. I'll put that together. So let's put one of these SCOBYs in here. Look at that thing. It's nice and healthy and hard. There it goes. Plop in the jar. Then get my water and let's top this thing off. Bring it up there. So that is ready to go. We'll put it back in my cabinet, let it sit 2 weeks, and then we'll test it. It should be ready to bottle. So put my cover back on there. There we go. Put my rubber band. Where'd my rubber band go? There it is. So then I'll make a new label for it so I know when it brewed, and make a note on my calendar to check it so that I don't forget about it. And if you do forget about it, it just turns to vinegar. It's really strong. So it's not bad. It's just not something you want to drink a whole cup of. Maybe just a sip. So got my recipe on my card there, and let's turn it over. I've got some other herbs that I've researched that you can use. Some of them I've tried, some of I haven't. Rooibos, the red bush tea, is one you can use. Blackberry or raspberry leaves, chicory root, club moss, dandelion, elderflowers, berries, fennel, hibiscus, nettle, oat straw, plantain, and rose hips. Now I didn't see alfalfa on the list, but I figured I could try it because it was not tea that has a high essential oil content that would damage the SCOBY. So I took one of my spare SCOBYs and experimented, and this one did really well. So that one is one I like using too. So that is really cool. And then there's some traditional recipes I found. I did try one with yarrow one time, and I had a little mold on top of the SCOBY. So I don't know if my yarrow was old or contaminated, but that one didn't turn out for me. But if you keep some spare SCOBYs in the fridge, you are free to experiment without any worries. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, just a note on some herbal kombucha. Hope y'all have a good day.